The first title for the show was musical Merzbau, and we changed it because the show is now a traveling show, so it's called now Studio Venezia, and it will be called Studio Lisboa and Studio Buenos Aires next year. And the idea behind it is to invite a great group of a great amount of musicians to use the recording studio as a platform to record like in a proper studio, but the studio itself is also a sculpture, so it's an architectural installation. Well, I made several experiences with musicians, but I wanted to develop this and focus on the very moment where the music is appearing. So not the music as we know it, all the data that we are carrying around on our phones or in our cars and in the city, but more the moment before it's really appearing as something that will be memorized. So the studio is a proper place for this experience because it's a very delicate moment where musicians are invited to produce something, but they also can fail and they can take a chance. So I'm interested in inviting people to share this moment of fragility, and I wanted really also with this environment to get something very soft and very not into something loud or something impressive, but more something delicate and fragile. I try to keep the relationship to music as an amateur. So for me it's very important to have this love relation to music that is not into the making but into the enjoying the music. So I'm not a real connoisseur, but I am interested in music because also it's a symmetrical relation to visual art, and what music can provide is different from what visual art can provide. And there is a sense of time and chronology in both visual art and music that is very different, but that is like complementary. Yeah, it's probably the main difference is sensation, and I'm interested in the music because it's more physical and it gives an approach that is obviously intellectual. Everything is going through the brain, but it's also physical in terms of it can make you dance or cry or having goosebumps or so I try to bring this level of emotion into art, into visual art. Well, we worked with an acoustician, Pierre Hugonnet, on designing the spaces so that they are very different from each other. So, for example, there is it's a large room that is fairly bright and that is more adapted to people singing, for example. And when the Studio 2 is more devoted to a louder instrument like horns or like drums. And then there is a green room where we are actually, that is both where the instruments are stored, but also where the musician can rest and where I have my desk where I can host different musicians, but also work on other projects. Because I will be here for the whole duration of the show, which is 7 months. We started with Christian Marclay, with one of the two curators, with Lionel Bovier, and we talked a lot about what could be integrated in terms of directions. And then we hired 3 other programmers from Venice, but in very different fields. So we have Baroque music, classical music, but also we have experimental jazz and electronics and pop. So what I was interested in is not to represent everything in music, but more to have different approach, but the feelings that they share, that all the musicians share, is more a sense of curiosity and an interest into sound as a material, as a base of any work in music. So it's not about melody or text, it's more about textures, for example. Probably hip-hop, but I'm listening to a wide range of different music, and I'm interested in the duration also. So, for example, I love to listen to very long pieces like Brian Eno, Thursday Afternoon, for example, that is 1 hour, so it's 60 minutes. And it's very strange because I so like to listen to the Ramones for a song that is 1 minute and 20. Yeah. So
you have a wide range of musical tastes?
Yes, I also listen to a lot of classical music, but that is mostly 100 years old, I would say. So at the beginning of the last century, I'm very interested into classical music, and French music especially. Well, first, the Merzbau was the origin of a certain conception of art that could be something global that people could enter in, and not only a sculpture that you could go around, but a sculpture that could be around you. And I'm interested in this period of in the history, like for the music, and from the Russian Revolution, I would say, to the 40s, to the Second World War. I'm especially interested in architecture, music, but also sculpture. And so it was a very intense time for creativity, I think. But what I'm interested in is how we can link the certain feeling of modernity of today with this original feeling for modernity. So of course we can't be naive about it, and there's a lot of utopia that we can't deal with anymore. But there is a certain strength that was behind, for example, Russian Revolution and constructivism and suprematism, or the futurists in Italy, that I'm very interested in.